Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This is the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up.
Hey, we are live here together. Made it down, made the trip down to Mississippi this weekend, so we're able to do the show here together tonight. We're gonna be watching the ball game together tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think this is
for the first time this season.
Yeah, it's the first time this season. I'll get to watch the game with my family, so I'm really looking forward to that. Excited. It's a big game. We're going to preview it tonight, man. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, 11 a.m. I mean, look, people are upset, Zach, about this 11 a.m. kickoff. I'm not too upset. I'm not upset about it. I'm really not.
Okay with it too.
Like, I mean, number one, obviously everybody's been talking about the stats. Like since 2000, LSU is undefeated in morning home games. I mean, 11 a.m. kickoffs. So, and a lot of people will be like, oh, well, who'd you play? Well, out of the 8, only 2 of them were Utah State, Appalachian State. The rest were SEC games.
Yeah.
So I'm not against it. And I think because the whole stigma, like everybody was upset, it's 11 a.m. kickoff, blah, blah, blah. But I think everybody's kind of rallied behind it. And we're like, hey, let's pack it out. I think it's gonna be a slam crowd tomorrow. I think it's gonna be jumping.
Well, it sold out like on Tuesday, I think.
Right. And of course, there's still tickets being sold on the aftermarket, but still a sold out crowd. I think it's gonna be jumping at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I mean, I hope so. Tiger fans know what to do. Tiger fans know what to do in Death Valley.
I mean, top 10 team coming.
You can't.
Your home.
You can't come into a sleep. Yeah, you can't let this be a sleepy game. This is fixing to be jumping. And I'm looking forward to the environment. I think it's gonna be great.
I mean, think about Texas, Alabama. I mean, Texas had that place jumping.
We were at the Florida game last year, the last 11 a.m. home kickoff. We were there, and it was loud.
Yeah,
and the stadium was rocking. And you
Even
know what?
After the season that they were having,
the season we had, TDP goes for the single game rushing record for LSU. It was an incredible win. It was a great win. I mean, you kind of put Dan Mullen on the hot seat, or did we put him out?
Kind of.
I mean,
basically,
yeah. And then Edo was.
I'm pretty sure he lost that game, and then he played an FCS school or a cupcake school the next week, and they really struggled. And then I think it was after that.
I mean, can you not? I mean, just imagine like where we were at that point last year compared to where we are now.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody.
What a roller coaster of emotions! Like we're going into that game, we're expecting to lose. You win it, and TDP breaks the single game rushing record, and then Sunday morning they fire Ed Orgeron.
We were trying. We were literally trying to get rid of the tickets. Like we were
trying to sell them.
Actively trying to sell the tickets.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah,
I'm glad we did.
We had bought them for Dad's 50th birthday.
50th.
And I think that was in 2020.
Yeah.
It was in 2020. So LSU.
No. It was last season, 21.
No, I'm saying we bought the tickets in 2020.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure we bought them in December.
Or maybe we bought them pretty early, so we made sure
we bought them early. I can't remember exactly the time, but we bought them early, and so we were expecting LSU to have a better season after struggling in 2020, and but they came out there and they won.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So I'm not upset about it. 11 a.m. I mean, obviously you like primetime games, but I'm not against it. I'm not against it. Zach, just a little extra here before we get into the preview game. I know you want to talk fall scrimmage, which we got to here for briefly. Well, before we get into it, we will have a little bit shorter of a game show tonight. We're going to be headed to the game. Friday night football after our show, so we're cutting it a little short tonight, so we can get out to the high school game. Zach, Thursday night, Ricky Collins, Woodlawn against Zachary and Eli Holsting. Eli Holsting finally made his return after his injury. Ricky Collins continues to impress, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some great plays. It was an ESPN casted game. I think it was a great thing just for Louisiana high school just to have them on ESPN in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Louisiana high school football is on another level, and we know that from the talent that is produced for the recruits. But it was awesome to watch, a future Tiger at QB position play. He played well.
I mean, I've said this before, and I think that him and Eli Holstein are honestly the top two in the state. And of course that includes Arch Manning. But if you listen to the analysts, the recruiting guys that are actually going to these games and actually watching these games, a lot of them will say that Eli Holstein, number one, Ricky Collins, Arch Manning kind of battling out for number two.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, I like Ricky Collins over Arch Manning. And that's not just me being a biased LSU fan because Ricky Collins is coming to LSU. I was saying that whenever he was committed to Purdue.
Well, also, now don't get me wrong. I think Arch Manning is athletic, but I think Ricky Collins is a more athletic player
for sure
than Arch Manning is. Arch Manning is not lacking in athletic ability, but I just think Ricky Collins is a little bit more special from a talent perspective athletically. So yeah, it was great to see that. But Zach, fall ball's kicked off. LSU returning tons of talent, bringing in tons of talent.
Yep.
Number one high school recruiting class in the country. You got some steals to stay home with LSU, not stay home, to stick to their commitment, not go to the draft. Guys like Guidry, guys like Kling, guys like Chase Shores. Number one high school recruiting class in the country, and the number one transfer portal class in the country. Tommy Tanks, Christian Little, Thatcher Hurd.
Look, I know it's early. Guys. I know y'all want to hear football. We're about to talk LSU football and get into this Tennessee preview. But as y'all may know, recently they've been doing some scrimmages, and your LSU Tigers have been hitting out of the park a lot. A lot. Now, I understand it's a scrimmage. I understand that. But, Gavin, 9 minutes ago, Jack Merrifield hit another one. 9 minutes ago. Jack Merrifield. Yeah, a guy that didn't really contribute a whole lot last year.
Yeah.
Gavin Guidry has the longest home run of all the scrimmages that they've played so far. I think they've played maybe 2, maybe 3 scrimmages. Gavin Guidry hit one that was 422 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, the longest of all the scrimmages. And I'm pretty sure, let me count here. 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's 12, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 home runs already hit in these scrimmages by LSU Tigers. Paul Skeens started it off with the first 2 himself.
Bro, how impressive is that Paul Skeens is such he's pitching for the Sunday scrimmage.
Yeah.
And he's also cranking home runs. I mean, what a huge player out of the transfer portal.
Massive. He's hit 3. He's hit 3. He had the first 2 to start, and then he hit 1 about an hour ago. And dude's already hit 3 home runs, and as you said, he's pitching in the
lineup,
third game scrimmage.
The lineup is going to be scary.
How do you
find a spot for all these guys?
I don't know. There's not going to be a spot for all these guys. You're going to have to just go with. Let me tell you this though, Brady Neal has looked good. He's also hit 2 home runs in the scrimmage, and I'll say this. I know we talked about it a lot last season. I honestly think Milazzo is going to have to hit 250, around 250 to stay on the field.
Leah Van reported that he was taking very solid at-bats over the scrimmages.
That's good.
Milazzo was. I didn't see any stats related to how many hits he had or what, but she said solid ABs. So, we'll see. The roster's loaded with talent. There's no question about that.
For sure.
LSU has the most talented roster in the country. You have guys that are going to be first rounders.
You have the best first baseman. You have the
best
in the
center
country.
fielder.
The best center fielder in the country. You
You
have
probably the best two-way player in the country out of Paul Skeens.
You have the best DH in the country / first baseman in the country in Tommy Tanks.
Well, he's been playing third base.
Been playing third, but I mean,
which is expected.
He's the best DH in the country.
So it's loaded. It's loaded. And you got Thatcher Hurd and Paul Skeens, Christian Little.
Ty Floyd.
The velo for Ty Floyd looks like it's gone up. Grant Taylor, which, by the way, I said last year, look out for Grant Taylor. The fact that he was throwing the fastball as fast as he was and the breaking ball for strikes last year as a true freshman, he was only going to get better, and he has. So Grant Taylor, I think, as a true sophomore, is going to be really impressive. So you got arms now. You lacked arms last year. Now you have arms.
Yep.
So it's super exciting. So that's our little extra tidbit here at the beginning of the segment, Zach. Obviously, everybody is here who is watching. They want to hear about the game tomorrow. So, Zach, what is your initial thoughts for the game tomorrow?
All right. So, listen, I got to be honest with you. Go ahead, Kenny. Just go for it.
Just go.
All right, there we go. We got our friend in the background here. I told him to turn off the fan because it was making a lot of noise. And he was worried he was gonna turn the light off, but you're good. Okay, so LSU fans, you're not gonna like me. You're just not. It's okay.
It's a tough game.
I'm more of a pessimistic person, guys. And I'm pretty sure I'll have to go back and check, but I get our picks in for us and the Balcony Bengals, which if y'all haven't checked it out yet, every Saturday morning, late Friday night, we release our SEC picks of the week on TigersAvenue.com. So be sure to go check that out early Saturday morning or late tonight. I will probably get those done tonight. So we're going to release our picks for the SECs with some really good matchups. Matchups this week.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive I'm the only one picking Tennessee.
And that's okay.
In our group.
We don't need those bad vibes.
We've got 8 of us picking. So I want to start it off by saying I think that this is going to be a very close game. I fully believe that LSU can win the game. I don't think by any means that they're going to get blown out or anything like that. Their defense is going to keep them in this game like they have the rest of the season.
Yeah.
The 2 biggest things that worry me, obviously, has been the slow starts. If LSU has a slow start like they have in the last 3 big Power 5 games, it's going to be very difficult for them to play catch up as it was for the last 3 games. This is a different offense that they're facing of a greater magnitude. It's going to be very difficult for them to play catch up if they get in that situation. So I think if they have a slow start like they have in these last 3 big Power 5 games, I think it's over. You would have to have an incredible performance by the defense in the second half.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, that's what they've been doing. They've been having really good second halves, which is kind of weird because, typically your defense tires out and has less of a better half in the second half than they do the first half defensively. But they have started slow and then been awesome defensively and only held those 3 opponents to 3 points in the second half. So I say all that, but I just really feel like in this game, that is going to play a major role. Now, here's the reason why I'm picking Tennessee to win this game. And I know y'all hate me. I know. I understand it. But you better believe me that I will be going nuts if my pick is wrong. You better believe me. For sure. I'm going to be rooting for them. I'm not going to be rooting against them just because I'm picking Tennessee to win. I'm going to be rooting for the Tigers. But here's the biggest reason that I'm picking Tennessee. LSU's pass offense has yet to show me what I need to see in order to pick LSU to win this game. And here's why. Because, yes, Tennessee has a really atrocious secondary, but Tennessee's defensive front 7 is pretty good. And LSU got the run game going a little bit last week, but I think because you've got a Tennessee front 7 that's pretty good, that they're going to limit LSU on the run, and then the LSU is going to have to rely on the pass. And because they're going to have, because I believe in this game, they're going to have to rely on passing the football to keep up to what Tennessee's offense is going to do. Because of that, that's why I'm picking Tennessee, because LSU's passing offense has yet to prove to me that they can go out and sling it around. I mean, you've got absolute studs at wide receiver in Kayshon Boutte, Malik Neighbors, Jere Jenkins.
Gotta get them.
And they've not gotten them the ball. They have not got them. Now, I heard an interesting take by Ryan Clark earlier today. He wants to see better passing routes by the wide receivers. He mentioned, Sean McVay and Sean Payton and Shanahan being able to scheme guys wide open. Even though you're playing fantastic defenses. LSU needs that from Mike Denbrock, because you have the playmakers that when they get their hands on the ball, they're able to make plays. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen Malik Neighbors do it. We've seen, of course, Brian Thomas do it. Like, we've seen Jack Best do it in the past. We've seen Kayshon Boutte do it in the past. All these guys, we've seen them been able to make plays once they get it in their hand. But that's been the problem, is LSU hasn't been able to throw the ball deep and get it in their hands. And Jaden struggled with the short to intermediate passing. So that is my biggest concern. And that's the reason I'm picking Tennessee, because I think LSU is going to have to play, catch up ball. I think they're going to have to outscore them. Yeah. And I just don't have enough hope in their passing game in order to confidently pick LSU to beat Tennessee in this game. And boy, I hope I'm wrong. Now, as I said, the reason I believe this game will be close is because I think the defense is going to keep you in it. And I'll say this, and Reagan may talk about this a little bit too. If LSU scores 28 points, in this game, Tiger fans, I'm feeling really confident. Because I do feel like LSU's defense can hold Tennessee's offense to 28 to 24 points.
Yeah.
We're about to find out. We're about to really find out about this defense. They've been really impressive the first 5 weeks.
This is your biggest test.
We're about to really find out what this defense and mainly this secondary is made of. Now, not having Tillman is that's still up in the air.
I think it might be a possible game time decision. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything official.
It's going to be a close decision, but I mean, not having Tillman against Florida didn't stop them. So,
they have other guys.
This is going to be
weapons.
This is going to be LSU's biggest test defensively, obviously, and probably is going to be the biggest test of the season. I think it is the biggest test of the season defensively, because everybody else the rest of the way, including Bama, has just really struggled to be as explosive as Tennessee offensively. I understand Bama has looked like Bama has, but even them have struggled early on in the season. So this is definitely going to be the biggest test for LSU defensively. And when you combine that with my not confidence, me being not confident in LSU's passing game, again, even with Tennessee's atrocious secondary, that's why I'm picking the Tigers. We'll get to my tools for success in order for LSU to win this game. But yeah, that's kind of my preview.
I mean, it's hard to deny anything you're saying, because I mean, you're 100% right. This is your true test, and also with the defense, this is the fastest team in the country when in terms of getting to the next play. From play to play, they're the fastest team in the country. They play up tempo, very quick, very fast. So the defense has got to be on their toes. All game they're going to play very quick. Now, I mean, that kind of when you play up tempo like that, when you play really fast like that, that also limits how much you motion and shift and try to throw off the defense. So it's kind of like a pro. I mean, there's pros and cons with every way you do an offense or a defense.
Yeah.
Like the pros with the up tempo is like you're gassing it, right? You could be wearing a defense down. You're not substituting, so the defense can't substitute. You're wearing the guys down. You're getting plays. You're running them. But the other thing is if you have a solid defense on the other side that's done their film work, that can read the offense very well, when you run an up-tempo offense like that, you're not running as much motion. You're not running as much different sets, right? Like it's boom, 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 boom. So it also puts Tennessee in a predicament where you might be predictable for a good, solid defense that can read an offense well. So for the defense to keep up, I mean, you just got to be set, and you got to look at what they're showing you. And is it something you've seen on film? Is this something you've watched? Because they're watching film. They're studying film for this game. But look, it's going to be a test to all your stamina, your conditioning, which so far I think LSU has been great when it comes to their stamina and their conditioning.
I would agree with that for sure.
I mean, you have in the second half, you've looked more physically ready than teams. I would argue you looked more physically ready in the second half against Florida State.
For sure. I agree.
And against Mississippi State, you definitely were.
Against Auburn, you definitely were.
Against Auburn, you definitely were. So can your conditioning keep you with the up-tempo offense? And can you get enough stops to give the offense a chance? And so far, that's exactly what LSU's defense has done. You have a lot more weapons for Tennessee than Auburn has, than Florida State has, than Mississippi State has. Now, Mississippi State, I mean, we can't just act like the Mississippi State thing didn't happen, though. Will Rogers is a great quarterback. I mean, I think A&M
torched A&M.
I was about to say, I think A&M is a fraud of a team, but they hung 45 on A&M.
Yeah.
Like
and A&M has like a pretty decent defense.
They torched them. Yeah. And LSU held them to 0 points in the second half, right?
Yeah.
Or 3.
3 points.
And, I mean, you kept Will Rogers in check. I mean, Hendon Hooker may be a little bit better, more athletic than Will Rogers, but Will Rogers is no slack. So I think LSU's defense has been tested to a certain level. And also, State did run a little up tempo, not near as fast as Tennessee did. So you might be prepared for this game as the defense and get enough stops. The question is, and I'll tell you right now, I do think LSU's defense gets stops. I think that the crowd is going to be involved in this game. As much as people have dreaded 11 a.m. kickoff, I think the crowd will be a factor. And I think if the defense is making plays, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and it's going to ignite that.
And it'll ignite that even more. So I think that the defense does get you stops, and I think they get you more stops than you think.
I'll agree with that.
You have to, as an offense, do your job. Your defense has helped you a lot. They've kept you in games where the offense has done just enough to get the job done. Against Auburn, you really just did enough. Now, against State, they ran away with it. But against Auburn, you barely did enough. The good thing is Auburn was in the Plains, and the crowd was in it until the very end. This time, the crowd's in your favor.
Yep.
And that's how it was with State, and we ran away with it.
And even when you were on the road and the crowd wasn't in your favor, you ran away with it.
Correct. So,
not necessarily ran away with it.
That's what I was about to say. With Auburn, you kind of just got the job done. So, here's my thought with the offense. I think the defense continues to play good. I do. And I think they do enough. I think the defense, regardless if you win or lose this game, does enough for you to win this game. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if you win or lose, I still think the defense does enough for you to win this game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
In other words, what I'm telling you is this game relies on LSU's offense doing their job.
For sure.
I mean, as we saw earlier in the week, maybe some of you have seen this, maybe not. Zach, I know you've seen this, and we've talked about this. So last week, you threw for 85 yards. It was atrocious. It was bad. We're trying to wrap our minds around why in the world a freshman tight end is being featured
Targeted
in plays
so many times,
and your elite receivers are not. It seemed like there was a disconnect. The timing was just a little bit off, right?
Yeah.
The throws were just a little ahead, a little behind. So look, and maybe Jaden needed a little bit more trust. Maybe the receivers needed a little bit more trust in Jaden. So they had the players only meeting. What that means, what comes of that, I mean, I don't know. But I think it's a great step, regardless, in a quarterback and his receivers recognizing a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a problem, and they're not shying away from that. They're saying, we got to fix this.
Yeah.
And as a team, I think, number one, it shows leadership for Jaden to run a meeting, players only. I think it shows taking responsibility, and I think it shows taking an initiative to try to fix a problem, which are all three great things for a team. You're playing so far the worst pass defense with Tennessee in the SEC. Their run defense is solid. And lastly, last week, you relied heavy on the run. So this week, you might not be able to run as much. So you're going to have to pass.
Yep, you're going to have to pass.
I think Jaden has the skills to put the ball in the receiver's hands. I think the receivers 100% have the skills to go get the ball and make plays. I think there was a trust issue. I think there was a hesitancy also from Jay, maybe not just as like distrust in the receivers. I think there was a trust problem in himself. You know, new team, new players were in the game.
Doesn't want to turn the ball over.
Can I fit that ball in that narrow of a window? Can I make this pass? You know, you gotta and this goes back to coaching. You also got to set the game up to begin with. You got to have confidence building throws. Make this throw. All right, now make the next throw. Now make the next throw. All right, now let's play it. Now let's run the ball a little bit. Then we'll run play action and we'll rip the top off now that you build some confidence up. You've got to call plays to where your players can also build confidence.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think it's all of them. And Brian Kelly made that very clear. You know, the receivers probably got to catch the ball a little bit better.
Yeah.
Jaden probably has to trust it a little bit better, throw a little bit better. And we got to coach better to get these receivers more involved.
Yeah.
So I think I think what we got to realize is the coaching staff recognized the problem. The players recognize the problem. So I think there's going to be a clear, asserted effort tomorrow to throw the ball and get downfield. I am okay. And even Brian Kelly said he's okay with a few interceptions if you're being aggressive and you're trying to push the ball downfield. Now, obviously, you can't be reckless.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you get into the realm of Garrett Nussmeier is it's a little reckless. Yeah, he can sling it down there and he may throw a bomb of a touchdown and you're like, holy crap. But if you turn the ball over 3 times, now like that's kind of game changing. If you're turning the ball over 3 times.
I think 2 times is game changing.
Right. You're altering the outcome of the game if you're over two turnovers.
Yeah.
But if you're throwing 1 interception, just being aggressive, trying to push the ball, I'm okay with it. Let's trust our receivers. Let's make some plays. And tomorrow, I think we do see an asserted effort to throw the ball. And if you want me to be honest, Zach, I trust our receivers more than I take our receivers over Tennessee's defense all day long.
I will say this. When you look at the margin between offense and defense, like when you look at LSU's defense versus Tennessee's offense, and you look at the margin there, Tennessee obviously has the nod there. I think you can nod.
Sure, yeah.
They've got the advantage there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then when you look at LSU's offense against Tennessee's defense, LSU's offense probably gets the nod there a little bit. The difference in this game, and I won't say this, I've heard people say, well, the margin between LSU's offense and Tennessee's defense is a greater margin than LSU's defense versus Tennessee's offense. I don't necessarily agree with that because I don't think the offense has done enough to prove that.
Yeah.
And so the difference in this game is going to be that very thing. Which side of the ball is going to create a larger margin? Is LSU's defense going to bring the margin closer?
Yeah.
Or is LSU's offense going to spread the margin even farther?
Absolutely.
That is going to be a huge thing to follow during this entire game.
And here's one thing I also want to see, Zach, and I don't know if we'll see this. This is just my personal opinion. We won't see this. Let me put it that way. Well, I'm not going to say won't because I'll never say, we won't see this. I would rather see a running back take a series. You have this series.
Yeah.
Rather than a sub in, sub out. Because, you'll see a few plays with Josh Williams, then you'll see a few plays with John Emery. Like, I think Josh Williams and John Emery is your guy right now. Like, with Armani out there, your guys. And Josh Williams, I think, runs hard and physical, and he's reliable, dependable, picking up blocks. So I think he's your starter, and I think you give him a series. I'm talking aside from obviously from the passing game now. I think again with the passing game, you're going to see a asserted effort, and I think I like our receivers. I think our passing does become successful tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to be at an elite level, like it's just going to be like wow, but I think we see some success, more than we have in the past few games.
I don't think they're going to be throwing for under 100 this game.
No, you're not. You're definitely going to throw over 100.
If you do, you're losing by a lot.
Oh yeah, if LSU throws over, if they do what they did last week, you're losing this game by double digits.
You're losing by at least 2 touchdowns.
Now to the running backs, I would like to see them start off with Josh Williams because I think he's your starter right now. And when they give him the ball, he runs hard. And if he's running hot-handed, bro, just keep him in there.
Yeah.
And then when John Emery got hot last week, keep him in there for that whole series. I'd like to see a series by series, but I mean, of course, personnel is not up to me. I mean, they're going to run their personnel how they see fit. But I think LSU, so to get to my prediction, because we're 34 minutes in now, we need to get to a break and do our TA's tools for success. I think, like I said, LSU's defense does enough because I love our defense. I think our defense has proven themselves, and I think they step up in this big time game. A home crowd behind you, I think the defense does enough. I think you said it takes 28. I think it takes 30 or more for LSU to win this game. I would like.
If you're saying that, I would even more pick Tennessee.
I
don't think LSU's going to put up 30.
I would
could be wrong.
I mean, I like State's defense better than Tennessee's defense, and they put up 31 against State. If you put up 30 points, LSU wins this game, in my opinion. I think if our offense put up 30 points, then I think we win this game. So I think my prediction is going to be 31-28 LSU. 31-28 LSU.
I'm going 24-21 Tennessee.
Gotcha. So you have our predictions for tomorrow. That's been our preview. I think the defense does great. I don't know. I mean, I think the offense does pass the ball well. We'll see if it's enough. I mean, I can't sit here and say I don't feel confident enough to sit here and say they're going to do it tomorrow in Tiger Stadium. It's going to be lit. I don't know. I just can't do that.
I definitely can't.
I think I will. That's why I'm saying there will be an asserted effort.
Yeah.
Is the effort going to execute?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's a very good point you make. Now, I mean, obviously, a lot of people are thinking this is going to be a close game. I mean, we've seen the line go from 4.5 down to 2.5, back up to 3, and now it's back down to 2.5 per Caesars. And then the over-unders at 65. I think is kind of high.
That's under.
I would take the under.
I'll take the under.
I would take the under. That's each team scoring over 32 points. So I would take the under on that. But as we mentioned, Reagan, and as we've both seen, surprisingly, ESPN Football Power Index has LSU a favorite in this game, 58%, 58.3% to 41.7. Probably a lot of that has to do with it being
Home
at home.
field advantage.
So we're gonna see, but
Neutral field is 50-50.
It really is a coin flip. It really is.
It's gonna be regardless who wins tomorrow, I think it's gonna be a dogfight. I really do. I love for LSU to jump out fast and kind of strongman them.
If LSU jumps out fast, I have major confidence that they.
But we haven't done that yet. That's probably. I think. Well, we'll get to that. But they haven't done that yet. So
yeah.
Anyways, all right, we're gonna hit a quick break. Well, maybe we can hit a few comments first. I see Tyler's in here.
Yep.
We'll hit a few comments. We'll hit a quick break. Come back, do our TA tool for success briefly, and then we'll wrap the show up right after that. What's
Tyler
up?
Townsend said, "What's up, guys? I'm pumped for the baseball season. Yeah, I am too. But right now we're gonna focus on football.
About baseball.
But I did want to preview that a little bit, Tyler, because to see all these guys hitting dingers and
it's lit.
It's awesome. You got like 12 homers in the last like 2 or 3 games, the scrimmages that they've been doing. Tyler also said LSU has to implement the screen game and multiple crossing routes to open up the deep ball. This will also open up the run too.
I would love to see some slip screens to the running back too.
Yeah,
with some pulling guards, to get it blockers out in front of them, out in space. I would love to see
crossers across the middle as well.
Bubble screen to Malik, bubble screen to Kayshawn.
You think about
get it in their hands.
Think back to New Mexico when you got it to BTJ on a little screen and he housed it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's take a quick break and then we'll be back to wrap up the show and give our TA tools for success.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
All right, we're back here for our final segment, the TA tools for success. Zach, I'm just going to give you mine.
Go for it.
Right out the gate. LSU has to start fast. You've started too slow. Way too slow against Mississippi State, against Florida State, against Auburn. I kind of gave that in a random order. Florida State, Auburn. And you even really started slow against New Mexico.
Yep.
The only game you started quick was Southern.
You
started really
that was
quick.
Because of
multiple
turnovers.
Multiple turnovers.
Like
and you
Southern.
Just way outmatched Southern. You have to start fast in this game. And if you do, it's going to play very well in LSU's favor.
Yes.
Because the crowd will get into it, stay into it. So you got to start fast. That's my number one. Number two, execute in the passing game. You've got to pass the ball well in this game. You are facing the worst passing defense in the SEC. If you can't execute against Tennessee, it's going to worry us for the rest of the season because you're going to face better opponents in the passing game. You got to execute. Put it in your playmakers' hands. Go score points. Go freaking win this game tomorrow and beat the top 10 team in your own stadium and let the world know that the Brian Kelly era is freaking ushering in. That's my TA tools for success.
That's awesome. All right, so my TA tools for success, and this is honestly a cliche at this point, but you're not going to stop Hendon Hooker, but you need to contain him.
Yeah.
You need to contain him. And so that's one of them. And this, I'm going to tie this kind of all together with the passing defense for LSU. So you need to contain Hendon Hooker because he also can take off.
Yeah.
Contain him, make him beat you through the air. Don't let his feet beat you. Make him beat you through the air, which obviously he's a great passer. So, you've got to worry about that. But limit him to passing.
Yeah.
Limit him to passing. Don't let him run all over you and pass all over you. Limit him to passing. And if you're limiting him to passing, then you also need to be able to guard on an island.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have 1 to 2 guys worrying about the quarterback.
Yeah.
And taking off. So you're going to have to worry about DBs being on islands. So you're going to have to cover on an island. So that's really it. It's LSU's passing defense is going to have to execute. So on the flip side of the ball, same thing.
Yeah.
As much as LSU's passing offense needs to execute, LSU's passing defense needs to execute in coverage.
Yeah.
My second thing for LSU is, as you mentioned this, Reagan, I wanted to say this. And this is really a Mike Denbrock thing. Get passes, call plays that are going to get Jaden comfortable early.
Yes. Confident.
Give him confidence and make him comfortable early. I think LSU's offensive line is going to do a pretty good job in this game.
You get Garrett Dellinger back. We didn't mention that.
You get Garrett Dellinger back. That's really your starting lineup in this game on the offensive line. So protect JD, but early on, as you're allowing not only JD but the offensive line to settle in, make calls, call plays that are easy, short routes that can build his confidence. I'm not saying run a screen every dead gun play, but like Reagan said, maybe run a halfback bubble or a slip. Maybe run a bubble screen. Maybe run some crossers, some quick slants, things like that to build his confidence, because he will be able to pass the ball on this defense. Yeah. He's going to be a passer. My third and final thing is LSU fans, Tiger Stadium.
Make it jumping, bro.
Be loud.
Golly.
Cause havoc.
Chaos.
For that Tennessee offense. Cause absolute chaos. And then when our offense is on the field, settle it down. let them do their thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Absolutely.
I go berserk when they make plays, but, go absolute bonkers whenever Tennessee is on offense. Make it unbearable for Hendon Hooker to be able to call plays and make adjustments pre-snap. Make it unbearable. And I know I'm picking Tennessee, but you better believe I am going to be pumped if LSU comes out and wins this game. And I have to go along with what Reagan said. Welcome to the Brian Kelly era if he wins this game. I mean, if he wins this game, what a turnaround.
If he wins this game, all the freaking bull crap, Brian Kelly don't get his teams ready for the big games. They're never ready for the big games. You can toss it out the window because this is a huge game.
Massive.
This is huge. I want to add on a little, just briefly here to what you were saying, like confidence builders, play builders. I want to see more designed quarterback runs. There are not. JD gets his rushing yards off of scrambles.
Yeah,
bro.
There's a couple of QB draws they caught against Auburn.
Sure. But a QB draw makes a team so vulnerable, especially when you have the elite speed and the athletic ability that JD has.
Yeah.
Bro, you drop back, you do a 3-step drop back, and the guys are, running some deep routes, and then JD just tucks it. It's like 10 yards probably.
Yeah.
If your pocket holds. So draw. I want to see some more design quarterback runs, because we talk about putting the ball in the playmaker's hands. JD's a playmaker. Do that.
Yeah.
Do that. I want to see that too. And lastly, and this is completely it's not off topic, but this is completely random. But bro, Tennessee's uniforms for tomorrow are, I love them.
Yeah, they're kind of
they're dope. Okay,
yeah, they're pretty sweet.
So
what would make it better?
If we beat them in those uniforms,
yes, but you know what would make it better? We're not going to do it. They're not doing it. But if they wore the all whites against that,
it would be
sweet.
But I love their uniforms. I love that smoke. I mean, it's a great look. It really is.
But we want LSU to beat them like a dog.
We want them to beat them like a drum.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to hit a quick break. Well, but do we got some comments?
We do got a couple comments. Tyler Towns has been in this thing.
Yeah,
Tyler's holding down the comments.
Faithful.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Tyler. I know we'll have listeners come back and watch later. I know a lot of our listeners at Friday night football games. He said
we're
defense.
About to go to one.
Yeah, we're about to go to one. Defense needs to keep first down plays to minimum. Set up third and long.
Agreed.
And I'll add on to that, Tyler. Get off the field on third and long. Get off the field.
Yeah. Agreed.
He also said, I'm most upset. I'm on night shift, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get to watch the game. You might have to sacrifice some sleep, Tyler. I'm just going to say. You're going to have to sacrifice some sleep. Maybe
stick it out, brother.
You're going to have to stick it out, my guy, because you need to be watching this game. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome either way.
All right, we'll hit a quick break right after this. We'll wrap up the show.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, guys, it's been a great show. We've been enjoying previewing these games. Tyler, appreciate you holding the comment section down. It's been awesome.
Hold it, Joe.
I'm pumped for this game tomorrow. I'm not upset about the 11 a.m. kickoff. I'm ready to go. I'm going to be up as soon as college game day ends. Let's freaking go.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
We're getting to watch it together because when LSU scores, me and you're going to go bonkers and just like hug each other and just go berserk.
Yes, absolutely. So, Tiger fans, it's a big one tomorrow. Y'all be cheering for them. Y'all be loud, and if you're going to the game, create chaos. Keep it a disruptive environment. We're looking forward to it. Go Tigers! We'll catch you next time here in the Tigers Avenue. 5-star Hero, take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? And the LSU Tigers, LSU Tigers.